Hello to all those radio listeners out there. I started my own channel up, and I'm going to go ahead and start the live stream for those people who are on Facebook, YouTube, and Rumble. Hello to all those radio listeners out. I'm going to communicate to you. You'll see if anybody shows up here this morning. Right now, there's only one of me, but if if we have some people that show up, we can have a conversation this morning. I'll give it a few minutes. If not, apparently there's widespread power outages. Jonathan cannot be here this morning because he's got power outage at his house. The radio station in Lake County has a power outage. And so it looks like our program it certainly will not be broadcast from the radio. I thought maybe I would give it a try and broadcast live to whatever audience is on Rumble, Facebook, or YouTube. So we did, just as an FYI, I did upload the GOP candidates night to Rumble, and you can find that on our website, voiceofgeauga at gmail.com. And so anybody who's interested in watching, and I didn't make it live for the world because people from Bangladesh or wherever probably aren't interested in Geauga County politics. But I did make it live for those who have an interest, and we'll communicate that to everybody. If you go to our channel, I see one other person showing up. If you go to the Voice of Geauga at Gmail at voiceofgeauga.com, there is a video on there of the GOP candidates night. And it is a very interesting candidates night. We talked about it a little bit last night. The legacy candidates decided not to show up for the program. Jim Dvorak, Chuck Walder, Katie Jacobs. Well, of course, she's not a legacy candidate, but she's part of the cabal in downtown Chardon. And so the people who are part of that group decided not to show up for the Republican GOP candidates night. So the candidates that did show up had an interest in being heard by the Central Committee. It was a large group of people, 150, I estimate around 150. I should look at the video and count the heads. But there was a pretty good sized group of people there, and we had people drive up all the way from Columbus and various other places to the event. So there were people who made a significant investment to be there. Christina Rogener, running for treasurer, was there. Actually, Robert Sprague drove up from Columbus. So there were a number of people that showed up at the candidates night, and it was very well attended. The people that showed up to speak did a really nice job. Steve Olowich spoke, and Joe DeBoth spoke. Each of the candidates for the judge sheet, the probate juvenile court, spoke. And we had Central Committee members speak. And so it was a well-attended event and well worth watching the video if you have an interest in who the candidates are. So I'm not sure who the second person is on the Rumble channel. They haven't chimed in yet, but we are having technical issues because of the power outages. I know it was a little scary last night I don't know why hang on here, our chat window in the tool that I use, for some reason, there it is, got locked up. And so now that's working. So, as I said, we'll give it just a few minutes here to see who shows up. Since I'm already up and I already have my coffee, we'll see who shows up. We can have a discussion on the live stream this morning. But and as I was saying, I loaded up the GOP Central Committee last night. I went to another event in Chesterland. They're doing a township-wide plan, as is required by law. So I forget how many years. I think it's 10 years, might be 5 years. The townships and a county are required to do a land use plan, and so Chesterland is in the process of doing that. They can make it very simple, and actually, in Chester's case, it probably is pretty simple. But they chose to make it a little bit more complicated. They have a big committee that they put together of citizens and various constituencies, and they're going through an evaluation of what Chesterland wants to be when it grows up. And interesting, I've been here for over 20 years now. Interesting that these things tend to always come out the same, and people in Chesterland don't want to change. They would like to see things. I see another person showing up now on Rumble. Um, they would like to see things cleaned up a little bit. So the Buck Stop restaurant, which is dilapidated and falling down, even though that's a very historic building, used to be a part of the Underground Railroad, and it has an interesting history. But the building is not being maintained, and the roof is collapsing, and it really is a safety hazard. And so people want that taken down, that eyesore removed. We now have the Burger King that's vacant. We have an empty lot between the Buck Stop and the Burger King. And so those are the only concerns that people have, is that is that the that they clean up the downtown area a little bit. And it's unfortunate because past trustees have kind of prevented that some of that cleanup happening. The people that own the Ace Hardware purchased some property on the edge of the parking lot up against 306, and they attempted to expand and to move their store over to 306. But the trustees gave them a hard time zoning wise. And so they finally, after a few years, gave up and said, the heck with this, we're not going to do this. But anyway, so for those who are plugging in, I can't see who you are. You'll have to chime in to let me know that you're there. But the radio program has been canceled today because there is no power. And I'm just communicating with Jonathan because he's got power out at his house, and the radio station's power is out, so they won't be broadcasting a radio program, I don't believe. Maybe they have something recorded they can broadcast, but the radio broadcast has been canceled because of the power outage here. I actually received an alert, as probably many in Chesterland or the Geauga County area received last night, on a tornado warning. And there was an alert to panic, panic, run to the basement, cover your head. And instead, I went and got my truck and went over to the Mayfield Church, where there was a township meeting, and went down into the basement with everybody else. And we sat there for about 10 minutes until they decided everything was okay. And then we went upstairs and had our planning commission meeting. And I will be putting that on the Voice of Geauga website. It was actually a very good meeting. I was a little bit concerned and nervous that we have these influences now coming in from various places around the area. We had somebody just moved into Chesterland from Lakewood, and a city guy, and so I'm always afraid they're going to bring city thinking to Chesterland. But we have Lyndhurst people and Cleveland Heights people and all these young people. There was a concern expressed last night that, geez, we got to figure out how to get young people to come to Geauga County. Well, it's actually ridiculous thinking, because that's naturally happening. Old people are moving or dying. And my neighborhood alone, when I moved here, I was one of the younger people, and now I'm the older people. And so it's a natural evolution. All the homes are being bought up by young people. A lot of kids run around the neighborhood now, and so it's happening across Geauga County. And that, yeah, some people, and I want to point the finger towards the liberals, because generally that's who it is, want to control everything. Oh my God. Grandma and Grandpa want to stay in Geauga County, and so we got to build an apartment complex for them. No, grandma and grandpa, and I'm a grandma and grandpa. If we decide that we want to change our lifestyle, there's lots and lots of places for us to go. We can go to Mayfield. We can go to Burton, for goodness sakes, because they built apartments in Burton and Middlefield and Newberry and various other places. So I don't know why it is we think we've got to change where we live. You know, we live here because we want a rural environment, single family homes, 5 acre minimums, and then all of a sudden we decide we want to change that, and that which changes it forever. So it's stupid thinking. But we have, I think, 4 people now on the Rumble channel. I don't know if that's enough for us to sustain today's get together. I'm going over to Facebook to see how many people we have on Facebook this morning, and there we go. And there's YouTube, and we just don't have a lot of people who have signed in to the program this morning, and it's 20 after. So I'm going to call this program. For those people who are listening right now, the power is out at the radio station, and Jonathan can't come because the power is out. I'm the only one here, and I'm talking to myself basically and the 4 people on Rumble. So I'm going to pull the plug on this show today. We'll be back tomorrow with Bob Voss. Hopefully the power is up at the radio station and up at everybody else's house. And so with that said, I will say good morning to all, and have a good day as we end today's show. So that's it. Have a great day.